Well, hello again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and we've got a number 5 Class 2 Division case here, and I want to show it. And I'm going to go through the start and the finish, and then I'm going to show you in detail how we got to where we did here. Now, this case is more complicated, and we are going to advance the mandible of this young man, and we'll watch the condyle as it will move back this way, allow the jaw coming further forward, kind of like you had a Herbst appliance in, and the gonial angle in here will enlarge, and that'll allow the jaw to come on forward some more. So this is a lot more complicated case, but this is a Class 2 Division 2, and if you learn how to do this, you can do those others too. So I'm going to get started here and go through it as quick as we can. Real nice young man. And you can see we wanted to bring the jaw out a little bit more. In this case, the case that we just showed back, we brought the upper back some. But here we're bringing the lower jaw forward some. And so you can watch that happen. Now, here is angled. This doesn't change this young man's facial structure hardly at all. This was 1982, and you can see the deep bite. This is the Class 2, Division 2, all tucked in back here, and we're going to open this up and this down, and it'll bring this forward a little bit, but not as much as we did. But we'll bring the lower jaw on out quite a bit, instead of pulling the upper one back like that. So here we go with this. This is where we started the case. This is the upper, and this is the lower right in here. This we'll end up bringing that tooth round better than it is in that position there. Now there it is, and a retainer we put on the bottom. I don't like those retainers, so I don't use that very much. And so you have the bite was deep. That's the finish part of it. And there's another from the other side of the mouth, the finish thing. And you see we brought these teeth out here. So we'll show you how we move the jaw forward and you hold it there, and it'll grow in that position. Now this is another from the other side. Looking at it, you see we're going to bring this out some to fit this jaw. And you can see we got the cuspid and everything lined up. This is the finish part down here in 1989. Now here we're going to cover how we did this thing. Now this is an intruding arch wire, which goes way up like this, and you're really raising those teeth up. You've got another arch wire in here which rotates the teeth, and we have this one piggybacked on top of that. This wire here is the one that raises this up. The other one rotates and helps the teeth line up and everything, and they're the little flexible wire. Down on the bottom we've got a spring. We're opening that. As we bring this down, we will line these lower teeth up here. Let me
phone ringing.
Okay, sorry for that interference, and we'll get to go in here. We've got the intruding arches up above. Now this is going to pick these teeth up, and we've got one down below like that, and it'll bring those back. And you can open anybody's bite. I don't care how deep it is, and I don't care how old they are. This will open their bites like that. It doesn't matter. I've never got into a 90-year-old to open them, but it would work on 90-year-old people. The bone structure will just move along, and you'll raise these teeth, but you won't push them up in the bone. It'll just carry the bone on up right in the area like that. And it'll bring this bone structure down with the teeth. And we're going to have to do a lot of rotation and making some spots down here to work in. Now, when we open the bite here, this is how much of a gap we had back in this area right here. So we're going to advance this young man's mandible and bring it out. And the condyle back here, if this is going forward right here, you'd have the condyle here and you kind of lean it back this way. And it's in the faucet. As you lean it back, it moves the jaw forward. And you hold it there long enough and it'll grow in that position. And if you have cusp on the teeth and lock it in position, it's kind of like a Herbst appliance. Won't work on the deciduous teeth because they don't have deep enough cusp, but you get into permanent teeth like that and get them locked in that position where the person uses them there, then it does work. And that's the same principle here. We brought so many jaws forward to relieve the TMJ problem till we decided just to use that to bring bottom jaws out, fill in the facial structure where someone has a retrognathic mandible. So that's what we're doing here. This is a little more complicated case, but now we are going to open this up. We'll pull these teeth together back here, and when I do, this is going to give him a little more vertical height of the face. If I didn't want that, I'd have to put some blocks in here, have him to chew on. So here we go. Now we built a bite plate that would force him to bring his jaw out. And I'll show that here in another picture or so. And here are these intruding arches you see, and they're picking these teeth up. That we pull that down, tightens that spring up, you see, and it's lifting it. We pull this up, it tightens this spring, and that brings these teeth down, and these up, these down, and these up, back here in the back. And closing that together. All right, we go now for, this looks complicated, but we made a removable appliance that we put in there and put a ramp on it. And that makes him bring his jaw to the front out here. That looks pretty complicated. Now that's not in its place. Actually, this ramp goes on up in here and he brings his jaw up that way and that holds the jaw forward. We expanded this area down here. While we were doing that, we opened this gap. Well, they'll change also this to bring the jaw forward. And we kind of enlarged this area here, so we had to have some room, and you bring it out like that. Now you can watch that. This makes this a lot more complicated and involved than the other cases. Now we're still bringing the bottom teeth down, you see, and we may pick this up a little bit more to do that. Now we've got them down, we've got him closing back here, and this is opened up here. This is what I wanted to show you. Now we're moving that bottom jaw forward. We've got this cuspid, the lateral right here is out. We got an impacted one back in that side, and we kept expanding that, bring it down, and this took a little longer to do than a regular case. Now we've got the upper lined up real good, and now we've got to continue working on this. And we're going to enlarge this a little more. We have to get it down and have room to move the teeth out like that. And we got a little space back here. And then we'll close that in and we can watch that tooth go back into position. Now we're then bringing this down a little further, and we've still got a spring in that area. And we've got our double wire going in. And I'll show them on the bottom. Now we've got it around to this point, and what we could have done in here is hook this and here, wrap it around like that, and hook it on this deal to turn this around in this direction. Now we pulled it on with an elastic thread, I think, in that area, but we still have the intruding wire on there. Now that's a messed up slide, but we've got it on the only one I had on that. This is messed up also, but we still got the intruding arch on there. And these all three were bad, but I have to show them. Now, we've got this around and enlarged, and we'll bring this tooth into this spot. We got to still get a little more expansion in the arch, and we'll pull that one in too. So we go here in 1984. Now the upper's lined up good, and the bottom is lined up. We've got one little flaw in here. We've got a deal here pushing back, and we'll bring this forward. We need a little bit more room, so we've still got the intruding arch, which is bringing these teeth down, and that gives us some room in there. Now this is 1984, and we're bringing that tooth into place, and we have to torque it in to get the root back in this side. Now let's get where we look down on that again. So we've got this tooth lined up in here, and we didn't take anything out of this. We've opened that, and that's fitting together. So that's where we pull this around, and then we advance the mandible and got it out with the upper jaw fitting like that. So here the young man is, and took a little longer to do that, but we left a retainer back into here. We put on there to keep that jaw, that tooth in place. And now this is the finished part of the case, 1985. And we've got him lined up like that. So this is a Class 2 Division 2 case. That's a lot more complicated than some of these others that we showed you, but you can do it. And you can do it. If I can do it, you can see it done. And so you can do this, advance the mandible. And we've done that on a lot of TMJ cases where we advance the mandible and get the condyle away from that retrodiscal tissue back here. Now this is his upper retainer with a little bite plate. You see the teeth fit in right there. Now that's that tooth. I don't know what's happened here. You got either his tongue or chip or something on that tooth. But there it is, finished case. And I hope you will join our group, and we'll show you how to do these cases. And you can do it on adults as long as they're living. You can do this type of work in here. And I want you to, and if you need help on something like this, come to the American Orthodontic Society. It's in Grapevine, Texas. We have a new office building there in the downtown Grapevine, just 5 minutes from the airport. And hotels there will pick you up, take you out where you can take the course, and you can come back and fly from anywhere in the United States, from usually about 2.5 hours you can be there. Now if you're from foreign countries or anything, and you need to learn just a part of it, you can come and pay to do that. These schools that they're opening now, orthodontics, you pay about $500,000, you can come in, and we have a lot of foreign people coming to the AAO schools. There are just 2 or 3 of them new ones opening up to take people like that. And that's fine, but we feel like you can come to the organization. We are a non-profit organization. And then these others are, they're actually, people make a good bit of money operating these schools. So anyway, we are trying to push our learn what you need to know schools. So thank you again for watching, and I'll hang up here and say goodbye. And this is the finished product we came with that child. And thank you again. Now I'm going to close up and say goodbye. Thank you.